Yeah. 2014. Project Macbeth. Let me tell you a story about a man named Macbeth. Inspired by ambition, but it led to his death. He wanted all the glory and to just keep on winning. But let me start the story from the very beginning. Two brave soldiers on their way home from victory ran into some witches and heard out the prophecy. They ended up Carter and eventually king, though words of the sisters in his head continually ring. When he got home, he got the wonderful news. He was the Thane of Carter. The prophecy must have been true. He told his wife what happened and what the witches said, so she planned when Duncan visited to make sure he was dead. At first, Macbeth declined. He couldn't kill his guest, but his wife convinced him by testing his manliness. With his wife's help and a little superstition, Macbeth agreed, out of his own ambition.
Ambition, you drive me crazy, just listen. You're trying to phase me, now that I'm king over everything. I'm drowning in a sea of blood with people that hate me.
I must be seeing something. Is this a dagger? If I killed the king, maybe I'll get the swagger. This hallucination started to put him in a trance. He thought if he could be king, this would be his only chance. So he puffed himself up, he was ready to go. His wife drugged the guards and they were out for show. Macbeth clutched a dagger and with deathly art, he plunged it into Duncan and stopped his heart. The very next day the body was discovered, but the real murderer was yet to be uncovered. The guards appeared guilty by the blood they would blame, but really Macbeth's wife was the one that had them framed. Duncan's noble son soon after fled the nation. Meanwhile, Macbeth had a royal coronation. Macduff wouldn't go because of his suspicion, and Macbeth became king because of his ambition.
Ambition, you drive me crazy, just listen. You're trying to phase me, now that I'm king over everything. I'm drowning in a sea of blood with people that hate me.
His best friend Banquo drank from his cup of jealousy. He wanted his end of the deal. What happened instead was he traveled through the night with Fleon's son. The king got the news and the conspiring had begun. Macbeth had a banquet, a joyful celebration. In the meantime, he ordered an assassination. He hired some murderers to go through his dirty ways. They killed Banquo, but Fleon's got away. When they told Macbeth what happened, he wasn't thankful. Fleon's was the real threat, but they only killed Banquo. The king was already worried because Macduff wasn't there. But then he saw the ghost of Banquo sitting in his chair and he freaked out. He started to shout and moan. His wife claimed he was sick and sent all the guests home. Macbeth tried his best to eliminate opposition. He had spies everywhere because of his ambition to stay king.
You drive me crazy, just listen. You're trying to phase me, now that I'm king over everything. I'm drowning in a sea of blood with people that hate me.
Macbeth wanted answers to clear up the obscurity. He went to the witches, hoping for security. What the witches prophesied didn't faze him, honestly. This was good news. His response was, oh please, first apparition, beware of Macduff. Because he went to England and raised an army so tough. Macbeth wasn't scared of the Thane of Fife, this insane tyrant when it killed his kids and wife. The second said, no man born of woman will harm you, but everyone has a mother. Macbeth didn't start to worry. The third one said, the trees will go from the great Burnham Woods to high Dunsinane Hill, yo. Macbeth was in trouble, trees cannot move. He said, bid the tree unfix its earthbound roots. Macbeth wasn't bothered by the witch's apparition, because he was blinded by his mighty ambition.
Ambition, you drive me crazy, just listen. You're trying to phase me, now that I'm king over everything. I'm drowning in a sea of blood with people
One
that
more.
hate me.
As the monster kept killing, he left a bloody trail, but people caught on and Macbeth became frail. An army from England, led by Malcolm and the Thane, regrouped at Burnham Woods and headed to Dunsinane. What the scouts told Macbeth was ironically peculiar. There were trees on the hill. How familiar, the soldiers were camouflaged, they all looked like trees. Macbeth knew this was one of the witch's prophecies. They stormed the castle, the Thane challenged Macbeth to get his revenge for his family's death. Macbeth had the second prophecy as his protection, but found out Macduff's mom had a cesarean section. Macduff killed Macbeth with the edge of his sword. Malcolm took the throne and Scotland was restored. Macduff helped Malcolm claim his position, defeated Macbeth and his evil ambition. I'm out!
When it's all said and done, I can't trust anyone. Now that I'm on top, I keep killing for fun. When it's all said and done, I can't trust anyone. This ambition's made this monster I become. Ambition, you drive me crazy. Just listen, you're trying to phase me.